What's going on, guys? It is Patrick here, and today I'm back bringing you another top 5. And in this episode, we're going to be covering the top 5 Easter egg storylines in Call of Duty Zombies. So basically what this is looking at the Easter eggs and what implications that it actually had on the storyline itself. Keep in mind, it is very hard to get Easter egg gameplay. It takes like hours and hours, so I don't actually have very much Easter egg gameplay for you. But anyways, that's that. Let's get into this video. Coming in at number 5, we have Shangri-La, and although I don't think this was the biggest storyline of all the zombies, it definitely set the series up in a way that gave it great potential for some really interesting things to happen. It was kind of the turning point. Now, in World at War, it was pretty basic for Easter eggs. There were some things around the map, and there was a storyline that we didn't realize at the time, but it was actually really in-depth. But there were no Easter eggs that really contributed too much to the storyline. However, once we got into Black Ops 1, they started picking it up, and I feel like at this point in Shangri-La, now some will argue it was Ascension, but I feel like Shangri-La was the big turning point where the Easter eggs started getting really big, really contributing to the story. Although Ascension was kind of the first, it really didn't do a whole lot for the story. It was just kind of the backing up. But once we hit Shangri-La, this is where it's kind of the turning point. Like, our characters come here, and Richtofen needs to get the focusing stone, I believe it's called. And it just kind of like really sets up the rest of the storyline in such a great way. For that reason alone, I felt like it definitely deserved a spot on the list. The actual Easter egg itself is definitely a pain to do, but it is a good storyline and comes in at number 5. Moving down to the number 4 spot on our list, we have Mob of the Dead, and this storyline to me has always been my personal favorite. The fact that it doesn't really contribute too much to the overall outcome of the main storyline made me only put it at 4, but personally, this is my favorite. I just always thought it was so cool. So you have these 4 gangsters on Alcatraz Island, and they're forming this plan to escape. They finally get out, and they find out that the entire island is just infested with zombies. So they have to work their way through, killing the zombies, and basically escape from the island. They finally build a plane which takes them to the Golden Gate Bridge and crashes there. So now they have to go, and they kill themselves, and they end up back on Alcatraz Island again, and it's basically this big loop. But once you go deeper into it, and if you watch some videos about it on YouTube, you really get a good understanding of it. But basically, it's this giant, like, infinite loop of this ancient evil that is keeping them there for their sins that the Warden had brought into the island itself, which is causing the zombie outbreak. And basically, they are reliving this over and over and over again. And every time they actually die from the zombies, they just get pushed back in to their cell block from the beginning again. And it's just this infinite loop. It's this cycle, which Zombies really has done a lot in the game. But it's just so deep, and it's so cool when you realize, like, every time they die, it's just restarting, and they can never do it until they finally do, where they break the cycle, and they actually, Weasel kills them. I believe that's how it goes. So just a really cool storyline that I've always loved and appreciated, and the fact that they're gangsters on Alcatraz Island definitely adds something to the mix. Moving in at number 3, it's gotta be Buried. So what I loved about Buried is not the actual process of the Easter egg. That one was just not very fun for me either. But what I liked about the storyline is it's basically the ending to everything. It's the furthest point in time we get with the storyline, and it's just so significant. From the very beginning of Nocturntoten, you're going all the way through, and you get Richtofen trying to do his thing, and then he blows up the moon, or blows up the Earth from the moon, and then you're going through with these new characters, and it just all finally wraps up here, and it has 2 possible outcomes, with either Maxis, I guess, destroying the world, or Richtofen finally going back to Earth and going into Stuhlinger's body. It's just a nice, I love the way they wrapped it up. And like, when I never was so big into Easter eggs, and when I like heard about this and like saw the ending Easter egg clip, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool that this has happened, and like we've come so far from just these guys being on Shinonuma, and now they're like controlling the world and stuff. It's just such a neat storyline. I always felt that Buried was definitely one that was well done. Coming in at number 2, we have a storyline that was hinted at all the way back in Der Riese. This actually was hinted in one of the radio files on the map Der Riese. They're saying we need to go to Nevada, we need to go to the base there, and finally came to fruition like a year or 2 years later in Moon. So although I know everyone knows Moon isn't one of my favorite maps, the storyline and the Easter egg on this map was always so awesome to me. One of my favorites ever. Basically, you've come all the way from World at War, you've done that, you come into Black Ops 1 and you go from Kino to Ascension, you're doing the storyline and everything, and you finally get to here, and it's like, oh no, like Richtofen basically wants to destroy not want to destroy the world, but he wants to become all powerful, whatever. And at this point is where it almost happens, and he gets control of whatever, and they shoot rockets at the moon, or they shoot rockets at the Earth from the moon to try to like decrease his power, but they end up just basically destroying the entire world and sending it into what is Black Ops 2 Zombies. And when I realized that, like, Black Ops 2 Zombies is basically the remnants of the Earth, I thought that was just absolutely phenomenal, the way they did that, the way they sequenced it. And above all, you have Nuketown Zombies, which actually occurs at the same time as Moon, and at the end of Nuketown Zombies, when you die, the rockets come down and completely obliterates it, I guess, again, because it's already kind of been blown up. But just such an incredible storyline that for me has always been really cool, and I know the community absolutely loves. And coming in at number 1 on our list of top 5 Easter egg storylines, it is Origins. So I know there's a lot of people out there that hate this storyline. They hate the ending of Origins, and I used to be one of those people. I just didn't understand it. I was like, what? Like, this is such a giant cop-out. I can't believe that they do this. And then I understood it. I had a conversation with Mr. Raffle Waffles, another YouTuber, and he explained it to me in such a great way that made me realize, like, oh my god, this is the greatest ending that could have ever happened. So basically, if you don't know, spoiler, what happens in this Easter egg is you have to unleash Samantha, and this is 1918, so it's way before anything has happened. You unleash Samantha because she's basically like a god in this segment in in Agartha, and once you unleash her, she has all the power, and what she does is she actually decides, like, I just want to be a normal person, and so she goes into this cutscene that you see. But this isn't actually like the ending, and it's not just saying Zombies is over and it's just a big joke, and that's what everybody assumed it was, but that's not what it means at all. It's an infinite loop. So at the very end of Buried, what we have is all those shenanigans that go on, and then Samantha goes back to 1918 and has these events happen, making it an infinite loop where Samantha is actually like is now like in control of everything, and she just wanted to be a kid and just be happy. But it's like the most mind-blowing thing, and what's so perfect about it is now that the zombies is like this, everything that happens is an infinite loop, which is kind of a recurring theme in Zombies. They can go anywheres with this. They can go anywheres with the story in Black Ops 3. They can take it anywheres they want. They're not subject to the storyline anymore. They put it into a way that really fooled us, and we're like, oh, what? This is such a cop-out, to, oh my god. No, that's not what they were trying to do at all. They just wanted to set up Black Ops 3 so that, or the next COD, I should say, the next Zombies, so that they can do whatever they want with it, with the storyline, keeping it open. And that is why Origins is the greatest storyline of all of Call of Duty Zombies.